Hello YouTube, here we are again, back again with the final, I repeat, final NFL Divisional Preview, and last but not least, the NFC North. As always, if you just happen upon this video, thank you. Consider giving it a like, then subscribe, comment, share around, and everything in between. Hope you enjoy. Let's get to the content. And as always, Green Bay Packers in first place again. I just don't see any reason why they shouldn't finish in first again. Yes, Vikings fans, Packers are still better than you. Sorry. Always will be better than you until you get a better quarterback. To start off with, Packers adding Sammy Watkins, of course, Jaron Reed, Kezion Nixon, Pat O'Donnell as punter, who's been alright so far in the preseason, and then adding Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt in the draft, who I expect big things from. Especially Wyatt to help plug out that middle, along with Kenny Clark. And Quay Walker, who knows if he'll be in too much because more of an inside linebacker. Maybe, yeah, I think he'll do pretty well. And of course, losing Devontae Adams, Zadarius Smith, who, again, the Packers were top 10 in defense last year, I believe, and they didn't have Zadarius Smith. All this about people talking about, oh, there's no Zadarius Smith, the Packers defense will be worse. We played without Zadarius Smith for all but like a handful of plays last year. They'll be fine. Defense is still going to be very strong. Then again, there was Cody Bojorquez, Chandon Sullivan, who I don't think is much of a loss. Billy Turner, Packers offensive line will be able to recover from that. Lucas Patrick going to the Bears, immediately getting hurt. Marcus Valdes-Scantling, sucks that he's gone, but don't think he makes too much of an impact with the Chiefs, maybe a little bit. Equanimous St. Brown, again going to the Bears, and the saga of Kevin King is finally over. And again, some other draft picks ahead. Of course, Romeo Doubs, and bringing in Tyler Goodson as a free agent running back, who I really hope makes the team again, because he just looks the part of an NFL running back. He just continues to make big plays. So does Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs had some drops at camp last week when I was at the practice, but he recovered in the game, had a couple of big plays. But I think it will continue to improve. Now, when it comes to the Packers for the season, I expect big things as always, and I'm always open to disappointment. I think they'll be better this year for sure. I think the defense will be top 10 again, maybe even top 5. They have some big players hoping for big years, like Rashawn Gary. Expect him to have a big year. Devondre Campbell should continue to be good. Rasul Douglas, I expect the Packers to do well. And when it comes in regards to the offense, I know there's a whole lot being done about they're having rookie wide receivers, and yeah, that's a concern, but they're rookies. They'll get better. Maybe some won't, but some will. And still got Aaron Rodgers, and he's still the best quarterback in the league. Yes, like a Tom Brady fans, Aaron Rodgers is better than Tom Brady still. At least for now. And he's still Aaron Rodgers. He's still going to get his touchdowns. He's still going to get his yards. So, while yes, I think there will be more heavier reliance on the run at times, Aaron Rodgers isn't going away. He's still, like I said, going to get his touchdowns. And it's Aaron Rodgers. Offense is still going to run through him for the most part, just because there's so much invested in him, and he's still the best quarterback in the league. And yeah, I fully expect the Packers to possibly lose in the playoffs again, but they have a relatively easy schedule this year, although that's always what it says on paper, but we'll have to see. I mean, they get the NFC East and the AFC East as well. Now, a couple of those games in the AFC might be more difficult, but the NFC East teams should be a pretty easy challenge. Yep, I'm talking to you Cowboys fans. Yep, Packers are going to beat Cowboys in Week 11. I think it's Week 11 when they play. But yeah, I fully expect the Green Bay Packers to continue to play well in the regular season, and I'm fully expecting a possible early playoff exit as well. Now we go to the Minnesota Vikings, who I just despise. I despise the Vikings, and more so I just hate their fans because they're the most entitled fan base in the NFL, and their team has never done anything. They always think they're better than the Packers, but hey, Packers are still the greatest team of all time. 13 world champions. And the Vikings went to 4 Super Bowls, and they lost all of them. So, sucks to suck, Minnesota. Anyway, they added offensive guard Chris Reed, defensive lineman Harrison Phillips, who I like their middle for them, linebacker Jordan Hicks, who's had success in the past with their teams, adding Za'Darius Smith, who should be decent for them for a time, but I fully expect him to get injured at some point in the season. I know he's probably going to talk about his revenge tour, but I mean, it's like Za'Darius did well with the Packers. Like, I don't understand his dissing of the Packers. I mean, he had a bad injury. They weren't going to play you on that. And then they brought some more Packers garbage and Chandon Sullivan. No disrespect to him. It's just the Vikings, Bears, and Lions are always quick to pick up the Packers throwaway players, and they still don't do anything for them. Bring in Jonathan Ballard on defense tackle, safety, and they drafted Lewis Sean. And then they lost tight end Tyler Conklin, Michael Pierce, who I think will be a loss for them. He did pretty well for them. Anthony Barr, their heralded greatest player they've had in a long time, whose only career achievement is for injuring Aaron Rodgers. So I hope you're proud of that, Minnesota. Bring in they lost Xavier Woods, Everson Griffin, and Mackenzie Barr. Now, or Mackenzie Alexander, not Barr. I wrote down Barr, but I meant Alexander. Yeah, Minnesota should be good as always on the offensive side, although not as good as they could be because they continue to employ Kirk Cousins, who is a serviceable quarterback, above average quarterback, but he can't win it in the big times for you. I mean, you still have Justin Jefferson, who's probably going to have another big year. Dalvin Cook should, as long as he stays healthy, be one of the best in the league. And it's going to be a tough battle against Minnesota and Green Bay for sure. Looking at that first week in Minnesota, of course, it starts at Minnesota the first week, of course. And I still expect the Packers to pull that out. It's not going to be the blowout that Vikings fans probably think because, the Packers lost Devontae. But, again, to go back to the Packers for losing Devontae Adams, he's a great player, and he should do pretty well with the Las Vegas, but on the plus side for the Packers, it now will mean him depending on more wide receivers. I know he says that he's only going to throw to people that can catch the ball, but he's not going to have that safety blanket in Devontae Adams. So I think it'll force him to open the playbook more and throw to more of his wide receivers because they have some good ones. They have some with some more development needed, but I fully expect them to continue to improve. And for the Vikings, I mean, yeah, they should be near the middle of the league, maybe gunning for a playoff spot, but it'll all come down to their stars staying healthy, of course, and Kirk Cousins continuing to not throw interceptions at big moments. And now let's go to the Lions, who I expect to improve this year a decent amount. They're not going to make the playoffs or anything, but they should still be nearing a more competitive spot towards maybe a playoff spot in the future. Adding DJ Chark, Garrett Griffin, linebacker Jared Davis, who just think is just kind of a journeyman at this point, not much there. And then leave it to the Jags to let Aiden Hutchinson land in the Lions. Pause. Like, for real? Why do you not take the best edge rusher in the draft, or best player in the draft? I don't understand. For him to stay home, play with his childhood team, is just ridiculous. And then, of course, they added Jameson Williams, of course. Now, I know a lot of Packer fans out there are upset that they didn't draft him, but remember, he is coming off an ACL injury in the national championship game, so who knows when he'll play this year. He'll probably play at some point, but not probably at least for the first half of the season, I would think. Unless he has some miracle growth back. And then the Lions lost Jalen Reese-Maven, longtime defensive stalwart Trey Flowers, and Kadero Hodge at linebacker. I didn't think they lost too much. I mean, they lost Trey Flowers, but he's been injured the past couple of years, and he's kind of lost what he had with New England. So I expect the Lions to be better this year. I continue to think they will continue to improve. Hopefully, for their sake, Jared Goff finds his old form, because he had a decent season last year, but he had some trouble. He struggled at times, and I'm a Packers fan, but I hate that I keep liking Dan Campbell as coach. He just sounds like a great guy and a great coach. You want your players to fight for their coach, and the players believe in their coach. So I think it will do well for them in the future. I expect DeAndre Swift to have a good season for them. Their success on offense will probably depend on DeAndre Swift staying healthy. If he gets hurt again, they'll probably struggle again. I think the Lions will struggle regardless, but they'll continue to get better and better. And I haven't watched the Hard Knocks yet. Probably watch it at some point. Maybe do a little review on it and what I think of it. But I think the Lions have a lot to like going forward. Probably not a playoff team this year, but next year for sure it's a possibility, should they continue to improve this year. Now let's go to last, but certainly least, the Chicago Bears, who I expect to have a really bad year. Yeah, I know. There may be some Bear fans that watch this and they'll gripe and bitch, but let's be honest, the Bears are not going to have a great season. And let's see. They added N'Keal Harry, who I bet is probably going to be cut. Byron Pringle, who got hurt. Equanimous St. Brown, who got hurt. Adding offensive tackle Riley Reeve, who's been serviceable at times. Offensive guard Lucas Patrick from the Packers, who got hurt. And they had no first-round pick because they traded away last year to go up and get Justin Fields. Speaking of Justin Fields, let's talk about Justin Fields. I mean, I think he should have a decent season, but nowhere near what fantasy experts think he's going to have. Their offensive line is so bad. It's going to be really bad. And also, with Tevin Jenkins wanting out, or possibly being traded, you can't trade away your best offensive lineman. You're already going to struggle even with him, but why would you trade him? I don't know. I mean, maybe that situation has changed, but from what I heard in the offseason, it sounds like they might trade him, or he wants out. And I think Justin Fields should have a decent season, but he's going to be running for his life a lot because that offensive line is not going to stay together. It's just not. I expect Fields to get sacked a lot. Sure, he has his legs and he can run, but I fully expect the Bears to not be very good this year, like at all. And then they lost Tariq Cohen, who knows if he ever plays again after he had that terrible Achilles injury in a workout. I watched the video and it was awful. Losing longtime kick return Jakeem Grant. Offensive guard James Daniels going to the Steelers. Trading away Khalil Mack, who, when it's all said and done, wasn't that great in Chicago. He had his moments, but he was never as good as he was in Oakland, no matter what people say. Yeah, the one moment against the Packers that I can think of, and a couple big moments here and there, but overall, it was not a good trade for them. I mean, it really wasn't a good trade for the Raiders either, so that trade was kind of a wash, but losing long-time defensive tackle Akeem Hicks, Alec Ogletree, Allen Robinson finally gets out of Chicago and goes to a good quarterback with Matthew Stafford in L.A., and then Jimmy Graham is finally gone from the Bears. So when it comes down to brass tacks for the Bears, they're going to struggle a lot this year. I expect them to be a top 5 pick next year. Sure, could they steal a win here and there against one of their divisional opponents? Possibly. But I don't think it's that year. I mean, maybe they beat the Lions, but I think the Packers beat them twice. The Vikings probably beat them twice. And Justin Fields is going to be running for his life. Hopefully for their sake he doesn't get injured because of their terrible offensive line. But I don't think it's going to be a very good year for them at all, to be honest. Bears are going to struggle mightily. And for any fans out there that of the teams I've talked about besides Packers that disagree, let's talk it out in the comments. Or my other social medias that I'll have in the description. But all I'm here is just to give my thoughts on the teams. I'm not meant to diss any fan base, well, maybe the Vikings a little bit, just because they diss the Packers and they're just like a fly swatting at Goliath when it comes to championships and just overall history. But yeah, I think when we get down to the records of the week, I think Packers 12-5, 13-4 are very possible. Probably going to be near the top in the week again. I think they honestly probably take first in the conference for the number 1 seed again. Then we have the Vikings probably 10-7, 11-6 are possible. I mean, like I said, I think their offense will be pretty good. I think their defense might take a step back because of their losses. And then we get to the Lions. I think if all things work out, everything goes right for them, 9-8 is good for them. Maybe 10-7. I think more like it's going to be like 8-9 or 7-10. I mean, not the greatest season in the world, but certainly an improvement over last year. Lions will continue to improve, but I think all those records are very possible. And then the Bears, I think 1-16 might be possible, maybe 2-15. Maybe I'm being too hard on them. I think at max they win 4 or 5 games, but that's it. I think it's very possible they win maybe 1 or 2 games this year. I know it's going to be a big diss. I'm dissing Justin Fields, but he has talent, but I think it's just going to be another quarterback that the Bears traded a lot for, traded up to get, and it's just not going to be the answer quarterback. Sorry to say. It's just what I think. So when it comes all down to that, I think 12-5 for the Packers, or 13-4, and then the Vikings 10-7 or 11-5 or 11-6, and the Lions 9-8, and or 8-9, and then the Bears, honestly, I think win only win about 1 or 2 games, to be honest. And maybe 5 at best. I don't think they get more than that. And as always with my videos, like I said, we can discuss in the comments, or you can discuss it with me at the other fine social media platforms that I'll have in the description. I looked at some of the analytics and found that most of the people that are watching my videos are not subscribed to me. So if you do like what I'm doing here, consider subscribing. Hit the bell twice to get all my notifications, and hit it once just to get certain ones. But I don't know, if you like my content, I don't know why you wouldn't just get all my notifications. I'm working on some videos in the future. My final schedule go through for the Packers, and then some other various NFL content going forward before we start the season, which is only a couple weeks away. So I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a great season always for the Packers, with the very real possibility of losing early again. But as I said before, hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day, and God bless.